The story began with what seemed like a small rule change, but in my neighborhood, nothing was ever that simple. The HOA board, obsessed with appearances and uniformity, announced a new rule: all yard flags were banned. They claimed it was to preserve the look of the community, but everyone knew it was really about control. For years, residents had flown small decorative flags, seasonal banners, team logos, or family symbols. They added character and individuality to an otherwise cookie-cutter neighborhood. With one vote, the board erased that tradition. I didn't think much of it at first. But then I noticed the board members smiling smugly as they removed flags from other people's yards, as if they enjoyed stripping away personality. The rule wasn't about order, it was about power. That's when I decided to take a stand. I spent weeks researching. Buried in city regulations, I discovered something the board had overlooked. While homeowners couldn't display yard flags, state and federal law protected the right to fly an official flag on a permanent flagpole. The HOA's rule couldn't override that. And if the flag met certain size and placement guidelines, it was completely untouchable. I filed the paperwork, bought the permits, and quietly prepared. When the day came, a crew arrived at dawn. By mid-morning, a gleaming, 40-foot flagpole stood in my front yard, visible from blocks away. And at the top, unfurling in the breeze, was a massive, official flag, perfectly legal, perfectly protected, and completely immune to HOA authority. The effect was immediate. Neighbors stepped outside, pointing and whispering. Cars slowed down just to stare. The flag dwarfed every roofline in sight, and no one could miss it. By evening, photos of the display were circulating online, and people were calling it the flag heard around the neighborhood. The HOA board was furious. They stormed over, waving violation notices, but their threats meant nothing. The police were called, and even city officials arrived to inspect the installation. Every detail was in compliance. The officers explained, with barely concealed amusement, that the flag was untouchable. The board could do nothing but fume as the neighbors laughed. What began as an attempt to erase individuality had backfired spectacularly. Instead of uniformity, the board had created the most visible, unforgettable display of defiance in the neighborhood's history. The flag became a symbol, not just for me, but for everyone who felt suffocated by the board's endless rules. From that day on, the HOA avoided my property. They knew they had been outplayed, and no one else ever received another flag violation. The board tried to control appearances, but in the end, all they did was create a monument to freedom that could be seen from blocks away. And every time I looked at that flag waving in the wind, I was reminded of one simple truth. Sometimes, the best way to fight back is to follow the rules better than the people trying to enforce them.